Hi, I'm Kristin Davis, and I want to know, are you a Charlotte? Hi, everybody. We are back. Here we are, Camilla Luddington and I, recapping the finale of season 1, Oh Come All Ye Faithful. Let's jump back in. All right, let's rewatch. Okay, this was fun. We are at this really fascinating and important episode. And I do remember people would come up to me and say, like, people sometimes just talk about their favorite episodes, and people would say, like, oh, I love Oh Come All Ye Faithful. And I'd be like, really? Because to me, the whole first season was a wash. I don't really remember that much of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot. We filmed the whole first season in 3 months. It was new. Yeah,
wow.
It was fast. That's what I mean about guerrilla TV making.
Yeah,
it was just like bam, Yeah. And I wasn't really, in some ways, I obviously would read the scripts and was around and all. Like often we'd cross board locations, right? So maybe Sarah would be doing a scene with Mr. Big and we'd be waiting to do, a group scene or whatever. So I was around for a lot of it, but I wasn't really tuned into the level of work that she was doing. Like I'm completely wowed every time I look back at these episodes. And partly I'm wowed because like Mr. Big is not worth this effort. Like I've said this a few times, but I'm like,
I agree.
Okay, thank you. Because but
I've always felt this way.
Did you? Okay, explain.
I've never been a fan.
Got it. So
but
I
wasn't a super fan of Aiden either.
What?
I just wasn't.
Do you think no one's good enough for her?
No, I definitely. Okay. I don't think that at all.
Okay,
I just think that. Oh my God, I'm gonna say something that's so controversial.
Do it.
I think she has bad taste in men.
It's okay. Listen, some of us have bad taste in men, okay?
Listen.
It's just the truth.
Listen, I don't get Big.
Okay.
We'll get into it because I have a lot of opinions about this episode.
Help me. Because through the lens of now, looking back, I also have a lot of opinions. I didn't at the time. I just accepted it as normal because I think that I also experienced many of these things. Do you know?
Well, yeah. There was definitely, isn't there a time where we all have bad taste in men? I think what bothers me about Carrie is that like she hung on to a man that was like obviously just, I don't understand what the appeal was.
Me neither when I look back. At the time, I completely did. Right? And even when I'm watching this episode, which we're out of order now, but I'm just going to say because it's on my mind.
Sure.
So this is the episode where Carrie is doing some research about religion. And so she goes and she's standing on this very picturesque summer New York City street corner. And she happens to see, she's looking at a church. She happens to see Big walk out with his very beautiful mother.
Yes,
I almost said wife.
chic.
Good Lord. Yeah. Yes. Marion Seldes, an incredible actress. And, she's like, oh my God, Big and his mother. It's almost like she didn't realize that he had a mother. It's so interesting. And then she walks over, they chat, they have a weird conversation. Like that's also part of what is amazing to me is like their dynamic is very fascinating. And I think a lot of it is because they're really good actors also, right? So like there's so many layers.
Yes.
Like her face and all the things that she's doing.
I know, but like I'm going to get canceled for this whole thing. I'm just going to go in, you guys.
You're not going to get canceled.
Carrie has no poker face and it drives me crazy. Sarah, you kidding? I love you, Sarah. First off, to the camera, I love you so much. Carrie doesn't have a poker face.
That's true.
And
you're talking to someone who also doesn't, so I totally know what you're saying.
Well, and I also think that was
Yeah.
Listen, that's why also, to her credit, we loved the show. Because I can tell in every moment what she's thinking.
I know, right?
I feel like viewers felt like they were girlfriends with you, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, her feelings are hurt. But as a girlfriend, I'm also like, don't show him that face.
I know.
Don't. He's so unavailable. Like, don't look so hurt. Like, no.
I know. She's so vulnerable. She's so vulnerable.
Listen, that's why I was sucked into the show. But as a girlfriend of hers, which I felt like I was a girlfriend of all of you, I was like, you don't give him that.
I know. See, I need a you in my life. I know. See, I'm not.
Listen,
I'm not.
I don't know if I have a poker face. I don't know if
it's hard, right?
I just need Carrie to have one with Big.
Well, because it's also interesting because also, as I was saying at the time, it never entered my mind. I was team big, as was Charlotte. Now, is it possibly because Charlotte was team big that I never really considered it, right? Because when you're playing a character, you don't realize it's like fully seeped into you. But like, I never looked at it like harshly, like, hey, should I be team big? Never entered my mind. I just was team big, right? Like I look back and I'm looking at him and his dynamic and how aloof he is and how hard she tries and how he's breadcrumbing, to use a modern term, right? But we didn't have that term.
Yep.
And she's just everything. She's just trying so hard and she doesn't have to. She's so fantastic. And I'm like, gosh, some of us should have said that to her. And I feel like Miranda tries a little bit, but not fully like you're saying, but like, she somewhat tries to say, maybe he's just not that great or whatever. I don't know what she says at some point.
Well, you're the optimist too.
I am.
Right? You're the optimist on the show. So you're going to be like, yay, this is great. Yeah, it's going to work out.
No, I don't question. I don't question.
This is why I'm a little Miranda.
Yeah.
I'm a little like, no.
Yeah, I know. But when then she goes back. So she kind of basically says to him, like, I'd love to go to church with you and your mom. And he's like, oh, no, it's just this private thing that I do with my mom.
Yeah.
And then she and Miranda end up going to church and they're up in the balcony and they spy on them. I know. And I remember this and I'm so uncomfortable looking at them in those hats, right? But when she's looking down, I know, they stand out so much, right? I'm like, this is not good
You're
spying.
trying to go incognito and they look so glamorous. They're in bright colors.
Bright colors. Straw hats. I know it's not good spying at all. But then she looks down at him and she goes, there he was. The voiceover, there he was, so tall and handsome. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm kind of with her on it still. And then I'm like, but no, he's very withholding.
I just think that Sarah is so, and as Carrie too, with that, she's so gorgeous that I'm like, whatever. About anybody else a little bit with any guy a little bit. Maybe I'm realizing this moment. Maybe I don't think anyone's good enough for her, but I'm not impressed.
With him?
I'm not impressed by him. No, I'm not impressed.
I know. It's a hard thing to look back on and think. It is, because I also feel
he doesn't give her much at all.
No. And I'm so glad. Anyway, let's get back before I give everything away.
Sorry.
We're going to actually rewatch, you guys. It's hard because there's some big themes. Look, there you are. You're very adorable.
I'm going to get canceled.
You're not canceled.
We're just saying, I'm saying it. I'm calling it what it is. Listen, this
That's
podcast
true. And you know
I
what?
have.
You're not alone. People have a lot of very strong feelings about Carrie. And I think they have a lot of very strong feelings about all of us, let's be honest. And some of them are not always nice, but it's okay. Because to me, I have to remember, like, what are you trying to accomplish with art of any kind, a TV show, whatever you want to call it? You want to connect with people, right? So if you're connecting with people, people are going to project onto you. They're going to project their own feelings, their own experiences, their own thoughts, 100%. All of those things. So sometimes, even if it's a negative opinion, the fact that it's a strong opinion, that's really what our job is.
Yo, K-pop fans, it's your boy Bomhan, and I'm bringing you something epic. Introducing the K Factor, the podcast that takes you straight into the heart of K-pop. We're talking music reviews, exclusive interviews, and deep dives into the industry like never before. From producers and choreographers to idols and trainees, we're bringing you the real stories behind the music that you love. And yeah, we're keeping it 100, discussing everything from comebacks and concepts to the mental health side of the business. Because K-pop isn't just a genre, it's a whole world, and we're exploring every corner of it. And here's the best part. Fans get to call in, drop opinions, and even join us live at events. You never know where we might pop up next. So listen to the K Factor on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, my name's Jay Shetty, and I'm the host of On Purpose. I just had a great conversation with Michelle Obama.
To whom much is given, much is expected. The guilt comes from, am I doing enough? Me, Michelle Obama, to say that to a therapist. So let's unpack that.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama and someone who knows her best, her big brother Craig.
We'll be hosting a podcast called IMO.
What have been your personal journeys with therapy?
We need to be coached throughout our lives.
My mom wanted us to be independent children. And she would always tell me, stop worrying about your sister.
Having been the first lady of the entire country and representing the country in the world, I couldn't afford to have that kind of disdain.
What would you say has been the most hardest recent test of fear? Listen to On Purpose with Jay Shetty on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's nostalgia overload as Wilmer Valderrama and Freddie Rodriguez welcome another amigo to their podcast, Dos Amigos. Wilmer's friend and former That 70s Show castmate Topher Grace stops by the Speakeasy for a two-part interview to discuss his career and reminisce about old times.
We were still in that place of like, what will this experience become? And you go, you're having the best time you're ever going to have. Yeah. But it was like such a perfect golden time.
Listen to Dos Amigos on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Michael Casson, founder and CEO of 3C Ventures and your guide on Good Company, the podcast where I sit down with the boldest innovators shaping what's next. In this episode, I'm joined by Anjali Sood, CEO of Tubi, for a conversation that's anything but ordinary. We dive into the competitive world of streaming, how she's turning so-called niche into mainstream gold, connecting audiences with stories that truly make them feel seen.
What others dismiss as niche, we embrace as core. It's this idea that there's so many stories out there, and if you can find a way to curate and help the right person discover the right content, the term that we always hear from our audience is that they feel seen.
Get a front row seat to where media, marketing, technology, entertainment, and sports collide, and hear how leaders like Anjali are carving out space and shaking things up a bit in the most crowded of markets. Listen to Good Company on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
In 1978, Roger Caron's first book was published, and he was unlike any first-time author Canada had ever seen.
Roger Caron was 16 when first convicted.
Has spent 24 of those years in jail.
12 years in solitary.
He went from an ex-con to a literary darling almost overnight.
He was instantly a celebrity.
He was an adrenaline junkie, and he was the star of the show.
Go Boy is the gritty true story of how one man fought his way out of some of the darkest places imaginable.
I had a knife go in my stomach, puncture my spleen, break my rib. I had my guts all in my hands.
Only to find himself back where he started.
Roger's saying is, I've never hurt anybody but myself. And I said, oh, you're so wrong. You're so wrong on that one, Rod.
From Campside Media and iHeart Podcasts, listen to Go Boy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We are rewatching this episode. This episode, O Come All Ye Faithful, was directed by Matthew Harrison, who I also literally have no memory of. It's so interesting. A lot of these directors, I just don't know if I was just in like a no sleep induced haze.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember at all, except I do think that this guy, and I have to talk to Sarah Jessica to find out, I think he was the one who we sometimes still quote because they shoot at the Limelight. Did you realize that's what the club is that they go to in this episode?
No.
Do you remember the Limelight? It's still there. It's an old church.
I probably wasn't cool. I would have been 19, so I'm not getting into anywhere.
I was already sober, so I wasn't going, but I would walk by it. I had an apartment in Gramercy Park, not chic like Carrie's in her current apartment, and I had a restaurant job in Chelsea, so I would walk by it every night in my 20s. And I thought it was very cool, but since I was sober, I knew I should not go in there, and I did not go in there. But they filmed there, which was also very cool, and I went there even though I wasn't in the scene. But he was the one who he would shout like, "You're at the hottest club in town, dance!" And sometimes in the middle of the night, if we're shooting, we're like, "You're at the hottest club in town, dance!" We still quote him. But I think this is
Can I ask a personal question that you don't have to answer?
Go for it.
It's interesting to me that you're sober, and a lot of your show was all about the cosmopolitans.
It was tough.
Drinks.
Yeah, it was tough.
I'm curious,
tough.
if that was hard.
It wasn't hard in the moment of it, right? Because obviously you're not drinking, and sometimes I had to play drunk, and that wasn't hard either. Do you know what I mean? I was already over the hump of it. You know, it's really hard when you become sober, but I tried to get sober all through college. I started drinking early. I started trying to quit early. And luckily, it took, I would say, 5 years for me to quit because I was so young and no one around me was sober, obviously, you know, in the 80s in college, not sober people. But eventually I did with the help of a therapist that I saw like 3 times a week, I want to say. Thank you. And then I just I had a boyfriend when I got out of college who was also sober. So that really helped solidify, you know, like getting that
incredible
support.
Though. Congratulations. I mean, it's so amazing.
Thank you. So by the time we got to Sex and the City, which was, I was past 30. So I'd been doing yoga every day. I was thinking about being a yoga instructor. I had created a life that was about kind of health and recovery and emotional, mental health and all of that. So I was pretty solidly sober by then, thank goodness. And it was more fun for me to think about being one of these girls.
Mocktaily, like, you could lean
because
into
I was
that.
never cool like that. I was from South Carolina. I wore Wild Whale corduroy in college. Like, they were all like, what is with your style? You know, like I was not cool at all.
Okay.
So very much, but it is interesting because you do have those crossover moments. It's not hard to act drinking, you know?
No, I was so curious because it became
its own thing,
you know, for your show. Have you been asked that before?
Not in that way. I wouldn't talk about it if I didn't want to talk about it. I mean, it's part of my life and it is an interesting thing as an actor because you have to navigate, you know, your own stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't, and it became a big part of it. I just remember thinking
like the shoes.
Yes.
The shoes
totally.
became a big part of it and the cosmos. It was really odd. That moment in time was really odd where we were kind of like, did we lose control of what the narrative is at this point? Because this is not our intention, you know?
Yeah. No. I by the way, I think that's so incredible.
Thank you. So guess who wrote this one? Michael Patrick King. And when I watch back, I see so many Michael Patrick King themes.
Yeah.
Like the end, which we will get to, which I loved. I love the end so much. So it also stars the incredible John Benjamin Hickey as the Catholic guy, Thomas John Anderson. Get it? John Benjamin Hickey, Thomas John Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
We already knew Hickey by this point. I think Cynthia and Hickey had already worked together. They ended up also working together later on The C Word, which was a really interesting show.
Okay.
Yeah, she played his love interest, I believe, on The C Word for like an arc. It was really good, really good. And Marion Seldes as Mr. Big's mother, which they call Mrs. Big, which is hysterical. That's why I think I got confused about mother versus Mrs. I know, it's really funny. Okay, so we start with John Benjamin Hickey playing a playwright. He's a writer and a director also.
Okay.
In the voiceover, they tell us that Miranda is dating an up-and-coming playwright.
Yeah.
And remember, at the end, they say that this is now...
Yeah, he puts on a show. Right?
Exactly. It's in his show, which is so perfect and great. And also, I want to say Cynthia got all the amazing... Not all, but so many amazing theater actors. Because she obviously is a very, very prolific theater actress. And, you know, Hickey, that was like a big deal to have Hickey. And so much fun. And he
was great.
We're all so young. He's so incredibly good.
He's so good.
And sometimes with those guest stars, it can be hard to be good, you know?
Yeah, no. But this is what I'm saying about our show. The people we cast are just, they keep me on my toes.
It's amazing. Absolutely. That's the best. I mean, Hickey definitely will keep you on your toes. Like Hickey's like for real, real. And the two of them are so good together. It's so funny. It's so funny to watch them. I obviously had not seen this in so long. And I mean, my first thought is like, we're all so young. You know, once I get over that, we're all so young, our little baby faces. Yeah. And then I'm like, Hickey's so funny.
Yeah.
Because they're so close on his face.
I know, the sweat. Makeup's come in.
It's so good, right? I know.
Funny.
It's really funny and good. So basically his character, they're having sex always in the same position, which I also think was a choice. Like it's very missionary sex for Miranda, right? And he's saying, oh God, which is also connected, right?
Yes, you're connecting these from
right. So he's saying, oh God, oh God, oh God. And then he comes and then he immediately, like 2 seconds of hugging, gets up and goes to take a shower.
Yes.
That's the gist of the storyline. And Miranda is kind of left there like, you know, on her own, no cuddling really.
Yeah.
Kind of sad, you know. But, you know, it's unclear how serious they are or whatever. But apparently they're having sex every night, which is also very, there's so many interesting things when I look back on it. Like, were we, I don't think so. Like, that prolific, you know, I don't think so. I think that the characters were We've discussed this. Candace Bushnell, when she came on, had a lot to say about this, as you would think.
Okay,
yes. She was like, we were having so much sex in the 90s. I was like, were we? Because I don't think I was. But I was obviously at work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, kind of inhibited, whatever. But I mean, she remembers it as being quite frolicking compared to now, which I think is interesting.
I think that's something we have discussed too.
Like, really?
Yes. But I did see a study out recently that said that the reason that the newer generations are Gen Z and everyone is having less sex is because they're not leaving their house. They're on the devices.
That's sad. That's what wild. Candace said also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she did.
I thought that was so...
But this is where I don't understand. It is crazy, and it's not good for humanity and scary for the kids, right? Because I've got a 13-year-old, and, you know, she doesn't have the social media. She has a phone, but she doesn't have the social media.
That's tough.
I know. Thank you. Yes, it's tough. I'm a tough mom. But the thing that I am confused about, okay, because I am not on the dating apps. I've never been on the dating apps. I don't fully understand the dating apps. Yeah. But weren't they supposed to help everyone who's on the phone to meet people?
Yes, but what we're missing is the Sex and the City meet cutes.
I know.
In the bar.
I know.
So we're missing the spice.
So it doesn't translate.
Also, there's none of that. Like, it doesn't translate. And I think that whole tease of like, do I like you? I don't know.
Right.
Well, as soon as you swipe on someone, you're showing your cards.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, you have to say, like, obviously, if you swipe on them, you're interested.
Okay.
So I think it's missing that, like,
uncertainty.
That playful, like, yes.
Playful. It's not playful to swipe on someone.
No, because you're basically, like, checking them already off the bat. And then trying to say, I don't like that.
And they know this.
They know it, yeah.
Okay, that's weird. That's so weird.
Right?
I don't really understand it, like, so much. Because Candace said she's on Raya, apparently.
Okay,
and she was like, no, nothing ever works out from Raya. And I'm like, why not? And she said, because everyone's so busy. And then a younger friend, a guy friend, showed me his Raya.
Yeah. A lot of
and
famous.
it was a lot of girls without very much clothing on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, whoa.
I would have thank God I'm married. I would have no game on those dating apps.
I don't even understand
me
how.
with my 5,000 dogs.
Oh, hey, that's very attractive. Anyone who doesn't think that's attractive is messed up, okay?
In a turtleneck, but, I don't know.
You wouldn't play to the same group that these scantily clad girls were, but I don't think you'd want to. Do you know what I mean?
No, but I don't know if anyone would swipe.
I think someone would. But see, this is my naivete. Like, if
but then I like them. I don't know.
Why wouldn't they be? Like, shouldn't the other people be on there too? I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
Anyway, it's very confusing.
We're off.
It's okay. We're off, but it's really fun. Okay. It's really fun. Okay, so we're back to the swinging 90s, where Miranda's having sex every night with the Catholic guy, and he's showering, which is super interesting. Then she very adorably walks down the street with Carrie, and she says to her something like, I must have found the last religious guy in New York City, which is really funny and like kind of so true. Like, you don't really hear people say like their religion out like right away. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, it's interesting, right? And then she says that Catholic people should have to wear a sign so that you know. Which is
I did laugh. I'm Catholic. I did laugh at that.
Oh, wow. That's funny. I'm glad you laughed, because I was like, I'm not sure if that would be acceptable to say now. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
No, I mean, I thought it was funny.
Okay, good. I'm glad you thought it was funny. Good. Okay, so then she says that he's a rational and logical guy, except for the religion. So she is not down with religion. Miranda is not religious, not cool with religion. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It brings up this whole theme. The theme is about our relationships, the religion of the 90s. That's what Carrie says.
Yes.
Her question of the episode, which I was like, wow.
That was good.
I don't remember this. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Very fascinating. Because really, that's still true. Don't you think? Like, people, I don't know if relationships are, but like, you definitely.
I would have to think on that. Like, what is the religion of now?
Yeah, what is the religion of now?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I think the religion of now might be like just trying to exist. You know what I mean?
I can't tell if that's like so depressing or not.
I know. I mean, like, for instance, I got this question that I'm going to answer later on a Q&A from, I assume, a younger person saying, do you think that the depiction of single women in New York City is accurate or was accurate, which, obviously not really. Like it was a kind of upper echelon group of women, right?
Yeah.
And then they said something like, for instance, the fact that they don't have roommates, which is a very real issue now.
Yes, I
like
definitely
you
had a
can't
roommate.
find, and I also had many roommates.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Whether that was comfortable or not comfortable, it was just a necessity. But that's not really who we were portraying. We were portraying a little group. Like Candace was telling me at one point when she was writing the column before the book was published, she was living in a doorman building. Like that's how well she was doing. Obviously, a different time, right? Like the different time.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be.
There was no doorman anywhere.
No, exactly. Me neither. But it was an upper echelon of.
But that's what the show was.
Right.
Yeah.
Of
I also
single
feel
women.
like watching it, I was living vicariously through you guys, right?
Like, it was aspirational.
Yes.
Yes. And I mean, we were never trying to be regular. Like who runs around the city
I didn't want
in
you
those
guys
shoes?
to be regular.
Right. But I mean, I just think it's important to say that.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like we weren't. I don't think we were making an effort to just be regular.
No.
Right. Yeah. Just wanted to say that.
Yo, K-pop fans, it's your boy Bomhan, and I'm bringing you something epic. Introducing the K Factor, the podcast that takes you straight into the heart of K-pop. We're talking music reviews, exclusive interviews, and deep dives into the industry like never before. From producers and choreographers to idols and trainees, we're bringing you the real stories behind the music that you love. And yeah, we're keeping it 100, discussing everything from comebacks and concepts to the mental health side of the business. Because K-pop isn't just a genre, it's a whole world, and we're exploring every corner of it. And here's the best part. Fans get to call in, drop opinions, and even join us live at events. You never know where we might pop up next. So listen to the K Factor on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, my name's Jay Shetty, and I'm the host of On Purpose. I just had a great conversation with Michelle Obama.
To whom much is given, much is expected. The guilt comes from, am I doing enough? Me, Michelle Obama, to say that to a therapist. So let's unpack that.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama and someone who knows her best, her big brother Craig.
We'll be hosting a podcast called IMO.
What have been your personal journeys with therapy?
We need to be coached throughout our lives.
My mom wanted us to be independent children. And she would always tell me, stop worrying about your sister.
Having been the first lady of the entire country and representing the country in the world, I couldn't afford to have that kind of disdain.
What would you say has been the hardest recent test of fear? Listen to On Purpose with Jay Shetty on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's nostalgia overload as Wilmer Valderrama and Freddie Rodriguez welcome another amigo to their podcast, Dos Amigos. Wilmer's friend and former That 70s Show castmate Topher Grace stops by the Speakeasy for a two-part interview to discuss his career and reminisce about old times.
We were still in that place of like, what will this experience become? And you go, you're having the best time you're ever going to have. But it was like such a perfect golden time.
Listen to Dos Amigos on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Michael Casson, founder and CEO of 3C Ventures and your guide on good company, the podcast where I sit down with the boldest innovators shaping what's next. In this episode, I'm joined by Anjali Sood, CEO of Tubi, for a conversation that's anything but ordinary. We dive into the competitive world of streaming, how she's turning so-called niche into mainstream gold, connecting audiences with stories that truly make them feel seen.
What others dismiss as niche, we embrace as core. It's this idea that there's so many stories out there, and if you can find a way to curate and help the right person discover the right content, the term that we always hear from our audience is that they feel seen.
Get a front row seat to where media, marketing, technology, entertainment, and sports collide, and hear how leaders like Anjali are carving out space and shaking things up a bit in the most crowded of markets. Listen to Good Company on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
In 1978, Roger Caron's first book was published, and he was unlike any first-time author Canada had ever seen.
Roger Caron was 16 when first convicted.
Has spent 24 of those years in jail.
12 years in solitary.
He went from an ex-con to a literary darling almost overnight.
He was instantly a celebrity.
He was an adrenaline junkie, and he was the star of the show.
Go Boy is the gritty true story of how one man fought his way out of some of the darkest places imaginable.
I had a knife go in my stomach, puncture my spleen, break my rib. I had my guts all in my hands.
Only to find himself back where he started.
Roger's saying is, I've never hurt anybody but myself. And I said, oh, you're so wrong. You're so wrong on that one, Rod.
From Campside Media and iHeart Podcasts, listen to Go Boy on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, so we're back. We're back now. So Carrie, that's her. She's now going to investigate religion, which is super fascinating. This is why she goes to the cutest little corner to look at that cute church. Some of the churches in New York are so beautiful.
I know, they are beautiful.
So beautiful. And she's saying that everyone's very fashionable, and she names some fashion designers, which is kind of funny. I think she literally says Escada, which is so adorably 90s, right? 80s and 90s. And then she sees Mr. Big and his mom, and she's shocked, obviously. And of course, Big's mother is so beautiful and statuesque, and he's so kind of doting on her, which I also find really interesting. And I think that's attractive to Carrie, though she doesn't say it, though it is kind of, could be its own episode, right? Of like, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's all shocked, and then they have the crazy conversation on the corner. And basically, Big comes over, he puts his mom in the cab, he comes over, and he says, yeah, I take my mom to church every Sunday. And she's like, oh, well, why didn't I know that? And he says, well, you write on Sundays. So I just, that's what I do. That's our Sunday thing. And she's like, well, I would love to go to church. And, we've never talked about it or whatever. And he says something like, oh, that's just my thing I do with my mom, and he's kind of his evasive self. And she has all the feelings go across her face, as you said. Yes. Yep. But I love that. I love that so much.
I love it as a viewer because it lets us know. But as a girlfriend to Carrie, that's what I'm like.
For me, I love it because she's just so complex in a way, right? Because like you can see the thoughts literally cross. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like literally, which is not easy to do as an actor. Oh
no, it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
her choice is phenomenal. Yeah, but because he's giving so little, I want her to give little.
I get it. Well, she does back up. Do you remember in that scene? She's kind of, she's looking at him in that way that she does.
Yeah, and then she kind of walks up and does the little. Yeah,
totally. She's like, okay, because he's like, let's go get a cup of coffee.
That's true.
Right?
Yes.
I think that's her realizing I've got to pull back. And that's the other thing that I think about their relationship, even from like maybe the first or second episode where they have all those run-ins, but they don't go on a date. Yeah. And then they're standing at the front and the back of a park to meet. It's like they're kind of like cross signals. And then she sees him on the street and she leans over and does his crossword puzzle word. She tells him what it is.
Oh, I like that.
And then she walks away. Like she does have some game, as you would say.
She definitely has game.
Right. But
and I think she has more game with other people.
Oh, 100%.
Something is disarming for her about Big.
Right. But that's
life.
Exactly. And also,
but I'm her best friend watching from my couch.
And you want to protect her. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I care about
Carrie.
I agree.
Well, I'm just, my feeling is I'm mad at Big.
Oh, I'm
mad at Big.
Always.
Because look at her face. Just give her what she wants.
Yeah.
Give her what she wants.
Always.
Oh my God. I know. And he definitely doesn't deserve her. And I'm so happy what happens in this episode, but we're not there yet. So let's keep going. So then they go to and I'm there. I'm at a bar with them, which is cool.
Yeah.
And of course, I say, a man who cares about his mother makes a wonderful husband. This is when I really start with the husband stuff, okay? Next season, oh my God, it's literally all I talk about for a very long time. And this is the seed of it, this episode. Yes. Woo-wee! I had some flashbacks of that. I mean, because I don't personally share this with Charlotte, right? So I had to do some acting. All right.
Well, then you are fantastic because it's a big part of her.
Thank you. I know. I had to do so many substitutions and things, but also I'd grown up in the South surrounded by this.
Yeah.
Surrounded by this culturally, right?
Oh, I fully believed you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sometimes, not yet. It wasn't that hard this time, but later on when I give those long speeches that would be like a whole page of me just like about getting married. Oh, wow. I would dread those days.
Oh, wow.
I'd just be like, can I do it? How am I going to make it interesting? What am I going to do? What am I going to plug in on that day that's going to make it work?
That's real for so many people.
It is.
And you were able to.
I had to just go make it.
Yes.
It was. I think the thing that was hard for me was the didacticness, or however I should say that word, of it. Like the very laser focus of Charlotte, which I love that about her, that she was that way. And I love what happened, which was that it didn't look how she thought it would. It didn't pan out. Thank God, right?
Yes.
And she got the pie in the face in many different ways and all of that. Thank God. But it was hard to play a character like that. You really have to focus on how to make it believable and grounded in some way. But anyway, we're not quite there yet. Now I'm just like, well, he'd make a great husband. And then I end up going to a psychic to try to get someone to tell me that I will in fact get what I want, which no one does. But I love it. It's all good. So we're there.
Have you ever been to a psychic?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you have.
Have you not?
I haven't been to a tarot card. No, I've never been to a psychic.
Oh, I've been to both.
a psychic. Really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I would want to know.
They don't really tell you, really.
Okay.
One time I went to the Apple store in Santa Monica. Have you ever been to that one?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, my God.
The promenade.
It's way busy, right?
Yes, very busy.
And this was one of those days where I had an appointment, but I mean, it was wall-to-wall people pre-COVID.
Yes.
And like there was a girl there with a basket with a cat in it. Like it was so LA. Do you know what I mean? Like she brought her cat to Apple, right?
Yeah.
It was bizarre. Not on a leash or anything, in a basket. So I'm like, wow, this is like a show. So I'm sitting waiting for my appointment, and there's this woman across from me, and she's got some tarot cards out. She looks at me. I'm like, oh God. She goes, I'm going to do your cards. And I'm like, okay. She does them. It was very positive. But I mean, what a random LA thing, right? You're at the Apple store waiting, and I don't think she recognized me. I could be wrong. I don't know. She didn't say anything. But like, it was very... I remember it being like, I'm feeling like, okay, it's good. We're okay. You know what I mean? Like, it was a positive thing, but it a lady at the Apple store, I don't know, but that was positive. So whatever had happened between those probably 20 years, because one was in my 20s, one I was probably in my 40s, maybe in my 50s. I have no idea, but so I'm open to that stuff, but I wouldn't hang my hat on it. You know what I'm saying?
No. The only time that's happened to me sort of in that way is I was going into Michael's, because I live in Michael's basically.
Wow, I love
it. I
Michael's.
love a crafting.
Oh yeah.
And I was walking in, and this girl stopped me and she goes, hey, you're going to find the one soon, and you're going to get married. And I was like, oh my God. And then my husband got out the car, and I was like, I'm going to find the one soon. I don't know if it's you, but I'm getting married.
That's really excellent. That's really, really good. I mean, that's really good.
And it kept my husband on his toes.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
Because the one could have been someone else.
Yeah, could have gone around the corner, and there he was.
And it's funny that you say that, because there is a conversation in this episode about the one. Carrie really desperately wants Big to tell her that she's the one. And this carries through for literally our entire show and movies. So what do you think of that?
Well, it's funny because when I stopped the episode, it flipped to a scene. You know how like it auto plays a scene from the future, and it was him, maybe an engagement party to the new girl.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, can you tell me why it wasn't me? And I think she's asking too many questions.
Oh.
Because I think you know the answer.
What is the answer?
I don't know the answer, but I think Carrie, but I think you know, maybe not why you aren't the one, but I think you can tell when someone's 1 foot in and 1 foot out, which is to me what Big was for so long.
I guess you're right. But then if you really want to talk about, was she the one? She is the one. Whether he could be with that or not be with that would be, but this is why I didn't ever think about him twice in the beginning.
This is so hard for me because I'm such a fan of the show. So I feel like yes, she ended up being his one.
Yes.
But I don't know if he's enough for anyone. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
you're saying that he shouldn't have been her one.
Yes.
But then really, can you control this?
No, you can't.
Right.
Of
but then
course
do
not.
you believe in the one is my question.
I do.
You do.
I think you can have the one more than once, though.
That's
I think
good.
the one as a number is wrong.
Got it.
But I feel like there is the one in these period of time. Yes.
Got it.
You have that in your period of time in your life. There's the one, and then there can be another one.
Good. Because I
it's just
definitely feel that. I feel like there's different people that bring different things to you, you know, and it might be about the time
of
your life, or it might be about what you need at that point, or it might be about what you're ready for at that point.
No, because people's partners can pass away and then they can find love again. So obviously that has to mean that there's more than one person. I didn't want Big to be the one for Carrie, is what I'm getting at.
Got it. But you also weren't Team Aiden.
I wasn't. I don't know if she's found the guy yet.
Ooh, well, that's good. That's good for our new season.
Yeah, it
of
is.
And Just Like That.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing that I love about Carrie is that even though she definitely, at this point, back in first season, she does have this need to be chosen by Big.
Yes.
And I think the reason that she seems to have the need to be chosen by Big, though I would love to hear Sarah Jessica's thoughts on this, because we never talked about any of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, because also it's fictional, right? But, you know, like you're just in it trying to do it.
Yeah.
But like, you know, there's an episode early on where Justin Theroux plays this writer who's kind of awful. All the men are kind of awful, right?
Yeah.
But like, she just toys with them. She just like,
Yes.
they're like little kittens or whatever. She's like, oh, he's cute. No,
Yes.
you know, she just flicks them away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Big, for whatever reason, because
It's her kryptonite.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. So to me, that is interesting. And I do feel like it does seem true in life that sometimes we chase what is unobtainable. And I think that's true for men and women, not just for women.
I also think the great loves of all of the characters' lives are each other, right? Like, isn't that sort of the story?
I do think, I mean, we
feel
have
like
that great scene later on where I say, couldn't we all just be each other's soulmates?
Yes.
And I do think that that's
I feel like that's
absolutely true.
the
But
story.
I also feel it's also this thing that Michael Patrick talks about, which is your own relationship with yourself. Like that you wouldn't need someone else to say, I choose you.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the ultimate.
Yeah.
The ultimate
Sure.
relationship is
Yeah,
your
of
relationship
course,
with yourself.
of course.
Yeah. Which obviously this is the very, very beginnings of our characters,
Yeah.
right? And so we're not that evolved into it.
That evolution hasn't happened.
Right.
yet.
But it's super interesting to watch her in this because we're going to rewatch more.
Okay.
It's fun to talk about the big topics, right? That's why I did the podcast. To talk about the big
people
topics.
like as polarized by Big and Carrie as
Yes.
I am?
Yes.
They are. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So this is very common.
We released this trailer and people were like, Team Aiden. And then other people were like, it better work out with Aiden. And then other people were like, not more Aiden. And then other people were like, we're still mad at what you did to Big. I mean, people still have a lot of feelings.
Opinions, yeah.
Yes. All right. So we are going to make another podcast of Camilla and I recapping O Come All Ye Faithful, the season 1 finale. So check back in later this week. Bye, everybody.